Hey everybody, it's your old pal SimplySuperDave coming at you from the great state of Louisiana. Yeah, down here in the south, where it's a little chilly today when it was really warm this morning when I got up. You know, I'm an early riser. I get up before the sun does, and so I get a little bit of the night before mixed in with my day, even though it is technically the morning. But to me, the morning never really begins until the sun breaks up over the land. And then when you see daylight, that is when a new day is upon you. But we have been traditionally taught that midnight, in the middle of the night, is when it switches over to the morning. So, I don't know. There's a little story behind that. I think if you went digging, why is that? Why does the day start in the middle of the night? But is it in the middle of the night on one side of the planet? And why is that the central point of time? You ever wonder that? Why is that the central point of time? Another topic I think I should definitely dig into. I just discovered that myself as I'm talking to you. But I was thinking about earlier today, I did a little bit of content spreading out. So I'm going to start off with that. Today, of course, I am SimplySuperDave, so make sure you remember the name. Because on TikTok, dropped 2 TikToks for you guys, and which I had a little fun with, but 2 awesome dubs. And then today, for the first time in at least a little over 2 weeks, and maybe the second time this year at all, we did a stream on Twitch. I told you. And let me just promote Twitch a little bit here, because if I'm going to sponsor anything or ask to be a part of anything, then why not the platforms that I use? Which is why I point out Spreaker, and it is speaker with an R right after the P, so Spreaker. And if you see me on YouTube or whatever, anything, look, that's the podcast platform. Obviously, I love it. It works just fine for me. I want it to be just raw, uncut, you know. I mean, I'm doing it mobile. So it's in the moment, spontaneous thought, whenever something occurs to me. That's why I do the podcast. But we did do a stream, and that's where the podcast originated from. The story goes back to where one day I have an Xbox Series S. Couldn't get the X because they were in high demand and short in supply. They pop up on Walmart, website or whatever, and within like a minute, if you're not ready to click, then it's gone. And then you find them on Amazon for about another $100 more. And it's just insane, the stuff we watch happen. This happens with all kinds of things, and anyway, so here I am playing video games. I'm trying to get back into something that doesn't require any physical demand, that keeps my mind active, keeps my hand-eye coordination going, and playing video games until I go into a nursing home. Hopefully they'll have mind control games by the end. But if, that's already gone, then But I just want to enjoy it while I have it. And it's always been a part of my life. As a kid that grew up in front of a TV as well as he grew up outside, I look forward at the nighttime because I was able to finally indulge into the bright light of imagination coming to life on the screen. Up until the mid-70s, superhero movies, fantasy, sci-fi, anything outside of the normal human storytelling realm really wasn't ventured into too much. Stanley Kubrick was already pushing the edge with 2001 and Dr. Strangelove and things like that. And there have been very artistic directors in the past, but the floodgates as a mass and an open for any director to take their whack at a superhero movie, we are pretty much to that arc now, we're overdrawn with it. But now we have such a wide array of films. But I grew up in the era where there was like standard and then it branched off. So when I sat in front of the TV, instead of being bored with the same old storyline with a different couple on some other show that lasted 15 or 20 minutes, now I'm watching 2-hour movies of a man that can really fly like Superman, and his name was Christopher Reeve. So growing up, that wasn't my Superman, my iconic Superman. And I'm proud to say that I think that Henry Cavill, it almost sounds like Knievel, but Cavill. I think it might even be Cavill. I'm not even sure. But Henry did a fucking excellent job as Superman, and it's really sad that he's not going to continue the role anymore. And I think that was a big bad move. I don't know about you, but that's a future Superman for fucking 20 more years. I mean, he's in shape for it. And I would love to see that continue on. Maybe they'll do a branch off Superman continuing story or something. I don't know, but that needs to be done. I don't know what to make of DC's universe. But anyway, growing up in front of the TV, I also, when video games came along, obviously, I fell in love. And playing Atari my whole life, once I saw there was a game with an end, because once I figured out Atari had no ending to the game, then it made it, because E.T. should have had an ending. There should have been a whole point to E.T. You know, that's where they fucked up in the Atari thing, because all the other games, Pitfall, Pac-Man, Asteroids, it's endless. You can just go until you can't go no more. But literally, like, sometimes you will just stop playing because you just can't fucking do this no more. You can't keep holding the controller, hitting the button. You find it becomes boring. So when Mario and Dungeons and Dragons and Contra, I mean, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I mean, remember that game? On pro wrestling, Tecmo Bowl. I mean, I love video games. So I was always outside touching the grass, but when it came to be nightfall and the night lights came on, so to speak, then yeah, I couldn't wait to go inside because I had a whole world waiting for me mentally. So that's what I like to do, is play video games. And Fortnite is the game I also, would love to proudly promote, because it's probably the best game I've ever played. Now, I know a lot of people are going crazy over this Hogwarts game, and that's all cool and, whatever floats your boat, but I haven't gotten there yet. And I'm not in a hurry to, because honestly, I like shoot 'em games, and because I'm, second menu kind of guy, and I don't have a problem with that. But I also like the third party. Like, for instance, if you watch the TikToks, I do the Captain America skin. It's just fun to play as Captain America. John Wick. I mean, you get to play as the alien from Aliens. It's Sigourney Weaver's character, Ripley. I mean, good gosh, you get to play as Ripley from either the first movie or the second movie. No shit. Predator, RoboCop. It's amazing. Yeah, you have to invest in it a little bit, but I mean, considering how much, it's a free game to play, so if you don't want to, you don't have to, and you could just play and be a badass in a normal skin, which is cool. I mean, when I'm shooting at you, I really don't care as long as you die. I'm just enjoying my fun from my perspective, and that's how I played the game. I've had a lot of fun moments today, but the stream, yes, I didn't think I was going to pull off any kind of good game, because most of the stream is me dealing with the chat or talking to the point where I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing. At one point I was like, where did I land? And I'm the only player in the damn game. Okay, that's how crazy I get in the stream a little bit. So I'm not good at multitasking, but I try to. And needless to say, we did pull off a dub even in the stream at the last match, after a fantastic supported community came through to be interactive. So the podcast was born from the stream, because I do tend to talk a lot, and people that like to watch video games, they like the talking, but they also like to see some good gameplay, and I hide in the bush a lot. So, but the TikToks show off me actually playing the game. So it's me, not focusing on talking to people. So it's different type of content, and it's more in the comedy realm of things, no matter what. Every now and then I throw a serious TikTok out there, but they don't seem to push those very well. But hey, what is it? It's a data recovering app. In other words, it's a way to harvest data about yourself for money purposes. Isn't that amazing that who you are is profitable to corporate America now? Corporate, world corporate. There's going to be a word we got to come up with. It's, what is that? The NWO. No, is that it? No. We are in a really fuzzy, hazy part of life, folks, where things that you only think you would hear about in movies are happening in real life. I would never think UFOs would be a serious story. The fact that they're admitted to, but then people say, no, they really aren't. And it's like, what the fuck? How hard is this? You're getting ready to prepare to release a client list that you've had sealed, that you know of for years now. And now you're telling we're preparing to release it. What does that even mean? I mean, what are you preparing for? I mean, is it that hard to just lay it out and say, well, here's your copy? I mean, does it take that long to make copies of this list? How long is this list? And why are you preparing it for me? I mean, I just need to see the list. I don't need to see a statement, a story leading up to it. I just need to see the client list. I don't want to see the flight log list. I don't give a fuck about who he tried to entice. I want to know who did get enticed. It's the difference. It seems they smear a lot of, oh, look at all these names and these names. Names I don't want to believe in. But I also believe that, when you're riding that ride of fame, you go to every party and you go to every island that you're invited to. And if you don't like what's going on, carry your ass. I have a lot of respect for people that can carry their ass. Or just don't come back. Just not your thing, blah, blah, blah. But for those people that was their thing, yeah, I think we need to see that list, and I don't think you need to prepare it for me. And I think that a judge saying in today's world and society that the public can't handle this, no, we're really prepared. I mean, are you just giving them time to get their shit in order? I mean, what's going on here? You know what I'm saying? It's just kind of crazy. And, I'm not even going to go with one of the conspiracy theories. I'm not even going to go there. That could be a whole podcast on its own. But just the fact that this is normal news type stuff now. You know what I'm saying? Like, the political stories, how boring politics was growing up for me, but how dominant it is in the world today. It's even for young kids. There's no reason why 8-year-olds should be having commercials expressing what they think the world is divided by so much that needs to be fixed, because you should be being a kid. But then again, I know that as generations move up, that innocence gets pushed back and they're just more adult at a younger age. And that's just sad, because that was a good gap, because at the beginning of human time and all that kind of crap, there was no fucking time to be a child. Okay. We had to develop to the strong race where we had cushion time to where it's taught and we're so used to, hey, from this age to this age, a kid shouldn't work, but it hadn't been very long. So it seems like now it's transitioning to they're making them slaves at a younger age. The earlier they can get them connected to this, technology, internet, whatever you want to call it at this point. If you've been following the podcast lately, but this tool, it's a tool that every human being on the planet that wants to have a job, do their job or anything, must have. And that's this little apple of knowledge that you have in your hand. Even if you have an Android, it's still a little apple of knowledge. Forget Apple, okay? That's just, they fucked that up. The first computer price they charged was $669. I'm 69. Did I say 69? I meant to say 666, but I think it might have been 99. I don't know, but they did that on purpose as a joke. Okay. And I think it came out in 84. So that's even funnier, or 83. I may be wrong, but anyway, it's just crazy how the world is right now. And it's just so obvious when you start paying attention to even main media, liable sources, whatever. And then because you do have the internet and you've watched it transition from being a fact-finding device to a all information, both wrong and right, all combined together. But there's an algorithm controlled by an AI that's created but controlled to make sure you are led in the right directions based on your interest and likes, based on your searches, what you click on, what you stop scrolling on. You don't have to even click on it. You're looking at it for a long time. It must interest you a lot. You've watched this meme 20 times. Well, you must really like dog food. Let's show him some dog food ads. Oh, look, he likes cats too. Let's show an adorable cat meme. Oh, he really loves that. Let's show some more. Okay, now we're going to show some toys. Look, he's going to the website. Next thing you know, he's ordering from Chewy. Got some cat toys on the way from my new cat. He had a dog, but now he has a cat. The algorithm figures that out based on just your interest and likes. He likes eggs. He likes eggs with cheese. He gets this at the same time. Your refrigerator tells you you're almost out of milk. And then there's this level. And here's the funny part. We all know this shit exists, but how many people have it? And if you do have it, do you feel like you're tied to it? Like it's more expensive than it should be? Do you feel like you're being controlled by inflation? Like it's that final grip. They've already taken over the banking. They've already taken over the medical field. That is the one thing that happened with the universal care. It's an exchange. Yes, we'll cover everything if you make everybody get insurance. Okay, cool. Then that's going to be the law. All right. Well, that's like a corporate deal with politics right there that does nothing but fuck the person. Because the rates never went down for an average single person, ever. And with inflation now, it was already hard enough to pay for out of pocket to begin with. Now with inflation, it's even more impossible. So, and you can still get health care, but as soon as you are known to not have insurance, for example, you're shuffled to the side. So the job now becomes about your income and not about your medical needs. The job is lost even though they're still doing the job. It's almost like they're doing the bare minimum unless you meet this qualification, and then we will actually give you a prescription and do aftercare. Or, other than we'll put a Band-Aid on it, why don't you come back in and check with this doctor? And then you go through this whole, it's mind-boggling how much the corporate way of business of money has really pushed this world into a point where the NFL has games on Nickelodeon. Like, what the fuck? I love football, and I love Nickelodeon, but no. Why don't you dedicate like 15 minutes to kids on your fucking NFL hour-long show covering fucking games, that hadn't happened yet, for example, like on your pregame. Have little young Dylan and Nate Burleson do a 15-minute segment on the Today, NFL Today, right before a game, every fucking Sunday. But not on Nickelodeon. I mean, there's just really no, what are you doing? It's just blatantly corporatized. And because they know people love the NFL so much, they know they can push that. I sound like a fucking, hey, this is bad, bad. No, it's not bad, but what's the whole point of different channels for subject matter if you're going to fucking all combine it together anyway? I mean, I miss music television, MTV. I don't mind that they did all their reality shit, but couldn't they make that their own separate channel? Couldn't they leave the original just MTV channel fucking music videos? I mean, isn't there enough music videos they can just rotate through them all? Like, in random alphabetical order, whatever the fuck, I mean, don't we have enough information where we have a better, outlet of it without it being controlled by money? Even to the level where even the banking system, when they got bailed out, but the banking system's already bought into the system with the Federal Reserve, which is owned by the business and corporations, run by the politicians who are paid by the corporations. All while giving you things that you love and so much, but at the same time, passing laws that virtually make us broke. I hear a lot of bills are being passed because they're basing it off money that's going to be made in the future off other bills that haven't yet fully matured yet, if whatever that means. So they're basing it on their calculations that their what do you call that, money management is going to work out correctly, which in the history of our U.S. government rarely ever has, and definitely here our track record is non-existent to not even trying. So that money's not going to really be there. And so this is just, you know what I'm saying? It's just blatant in front of us. And I don't know. I don't know what to worry about most, you know? Like, how much of a hold? Like, can we get term limits where we can get people in there that know what they're doing with the job, you know? I don't want any more career politicians. I want someone that's built a business, but they've killed the mom and pop business to the point where once you step out into the world, you're part of a corporate system, a business, an LLC or whatever. You got it sounds like a processing system to me. If you're one of those people out there that work independently, a contractor, physical hard labor, whatever, and you're making it, don't look at it as a bad thing. It's a good thing. It's an amazing thing. Because you're living through the roughest bracket of all. You're the one that's doing all the real work physically. Doing the stuff that nobody else wants to do. The reason why I know all these things about homes and refrigerators and stuff is because I have been part of the construction business for over 15 years. I get to go in homes and watch them go from foundation, be in neighborhoods and watch homes be built around me and go into each one and painting every single one of them down the road, you know. It wore me out, but I loved it. You know, climbing up on roofs, getting view top, you know, look around, see how many. It's a great job at times. And then, you know, cold weather and stuff like that, I hated it. But hey, it's like everything else in life. There's nothing that has nothing but pros, and there's nothing that has nothing but cons. It's always a mixture of the two. So you always got to expect the bad with the good, right? So that's how I kind of treat life, and I try to remember that there's bad days, but there's also a lot of good days. And I really believe in our next generation more than they think that we do. I'm part of Generation X. I'm the gap in between you two large-ass motherfuckers that I'm stuck with boomers and millennials and then Generation Z and all the other whatever they come up with next. But I'm in the gap between the 80s and the 2000s. Well, somewhere in between there. What is it? Is it 61 to 81? So if you're born between, say, 20-year gap. So if you're born in that 20 years, you're Generation X. I think it's 81 is the cutoff, just to say if you're cool. And our generation is nothing like the boomer generation. They still have control over what we're doing right now when they've already should have let go. But no term limits, the way business is set up, there's no way no mom and pop store can open. And when I say mom and pop, I'm not saying old couple. I'm talking about young startup people. You just can't buy a building and just start a business. I mean, there's so many regulations and ways to go through things, and they tax you the same as they tax Walmart. But Walmart gets breaks because they're so big. So why does that fall? You know, it's all set up to lead you, even if you're successful in taking care of your own, be thankful. But that's the limit. There is a limit. They're going to make sure that only, you know, that's how it's set up. And I'm trusting in the younger generation to keep pushing for like term limits and keep pushing for equality and being free in whoever you want to be, but doing it in a peace and loving way. None of this telling people this is how you're going to be. No, you ask people to be. If someone is this, you know, you always say, could you please not do that? You know, you don't even have to say the word offends. It just, I'm not cool with it. Say whatever you got to say. You know, don't be so PC about it. Fuck that shit. I don't know how we got brainwashed to think that living like anything inspiring from politics is going to be a good way of living. So politically correct sounds like a bunch of bullshit to me. And I don't know how we got fed that shit, but that's where we are. So we got to let that go. So I hope these past 69 episodes have been a trip. Like I said, if you've never heard the podcast before, please, I encourage you to go from episode 1 all the way to here. You know, or, you know, you skip the ones you've heard before or whatever. You really don't have to listen to them in order. But if you do listen from the beginning, you'll hear the bubble theory, why energy is so important, why the apple of knowledge is what I call the apple of knowledge, the cell phone, or whatever device that you use that you're connected to with your energy ball. A little energy ball in your hand that has all the information in the world. Just click it, and then there it is right before your very eyes. I'm here to make you set down the phone. I want to make you think about things. I want to open your mind up to digging down in some little deep holes of your own. Figure out why time is central in one part of the world and why everybody else has to go off of it. So is it really sunrise at 12 a.m. in a certain spot in the world? Why is that place the starting point? How did they get the call on that? You know, I need to look into that story, and because I think that is very fascinating now. I want you to remember, as the weekend begins, to enjoy your life, and remember, finish it out hard tomorrow, being Saturday, have a little fun, but take that day of rest on Sunday and reflect on the week that you had. And then as Sunday evening comes in and the darkness rolls over, look forward to the week ahead. But as you move through the weekend, always live in the moment, as it never stops and always continues. Love and laughter. It's the only way to conquer hate and fear. And it's the only way to stay super. So go be super tomorrow. Don't be a duper.